Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Dakota. I am a doll restorationist, a doll artist, as well as doll designer, but first and foremost, I am an artist.
Let's just say I'm a special girl.
I have spent well over a year doing some doll tutorials on YouTube, and there is one tutorial that I have not made and I just simply forgot. Oops. You know, time just slips by whenever you have ADHD. Damn! I always planned on making a Barbie repainting tutorial, and this is going to help you with all of your repainting endeavors, whether that be for a restoration or whether that be for some of your own one-of-a-kinds and customs. This will help you out on any kind of vinyl doll, whether it be a fashion doll like Barbie and or Bratz, Rainbow High, you name it. You can use it for several different fashion dolls. In today's video, it's going to be more of in use for a doll restoration, not necessarily a customization. So what I will be doing will be mainly for restoration purposes, not exactly for customization purposes. If you are interested in customizing dolls by using watercolor pencils, Mr. Super Clear, I do have those videos for you already in my Barbie makeover series. I will direct you to the description of this video where you can see some of that being done in my Barbie makeover series videos. Today we will be doing some work on two bubble cuts from 1961. We're going to be repainting eyebrows, we're going to be repainting eyelash ridges, and of course lips.
They look quite pretty.
And we're going to talk over all of the materials and things that you will need to get this restoration done. So without further much ado, let's get into today's video. So today I'm going to teach you how I repaint dolls and what's needed for the repainting process. So when we are repainting these dolls, unless you're doing a custom, if you're trying to classify it as a restoration, you have to better understand exactly what you are trying to restore. You want to get familiar with lip shapes, with colors, with tones. With different years of production, Barbie had shifted through a couple different lip shapes, a couple different eyebrow shapes and colors. So it's best to understand exactly what doll you are dealing with at hand to get the most original look, because not every lip shape is going to be the right lip shape. So these dolls right here are from 1961. We have a tight curl bubble and a big curl bubble. Now they both have what's classified as greasy face, and this is where the vinyl is deteriorating from the inside out. So all of these oils that are on her, which honestly this is just how the vinyl looks because she's not sticky, she's very clean. And also before you repaint any Barbie, go ahead and make sure it is done with a clean surface, okay you guys? As I was saying before, it is best to understand exactly what sort of lip shape these Barbies would have come with. Now this one kind of has her lip shape still originally intact. You can tell that she was a larger lipped doll, what they like to call the Lucy lips. This doll is no doubt probably the same, and the lip shape that you're gonna go for is something like this doll here. This is an original bubble cut from 1961, and you can see those beautiful luscious Lucy lips. It's only as we gone on with the bubble cuts that you'll see their lip shape change from being very big and voluptuous to being soft and demure, as you can see with this one right here. See how it just changes the entire look of her? Now this bubble cut is probably from 63 to 64, whereas this bubble cut here is from 1961. And since we are going to be working with 1961 dolls, we could probably conclude that they would have had the larger lips too, because she, as you can still see, has some of hers originally left, and she just sort of fits the bill for a wide-lipped bubble cut Barbie. So let's go ahead and get started. So the paints that I will be using today are going to be by Master's Touch. I've had these paints forever. You can get them at Hobby Lobby, you can get them at any craft store if you want to, totally up to you. You could even use some of these cheaper acrylics like you can get at Walmart. I recommend trying to go for the more luxury brand of acrylic paints because you want something with pigment. Because although I do believe that you should be creating a budget for yourself and your collection, sometimes it does make more sense to go for higher quality items, especially if you're trying to use those items for restoration. But that's my 2 cents. Anyway, so I will be using a mix of acrylic paints. As you can see, I like to mix these up because it makes them a little bit more demure and matte if you use some of these cheaper acrylics, because they don't have the same gloss as what these acrylics do. And for sealing, you could use Mr. Super Clear if you would like to. However, these are greasy face dolls. I would not put Mr. Super Clear, a matte sealant, over the entire vinyl of a doll who is leaching out plasticizer. It's not a good idea. It's not going to stay matte. It's not going to make it better. It's probably going to make it look really messy and a little bit worse. So what I recommend using for projects such as this is using a different type of sealant. So here I have this varnish right here. This is for varnishing with a airbrusher, but you could still use it just as any other paint and just dilute it with water and it becomes just the same as Mr. Super Clear, but at least you're able to target the places that you have touched with pigment. So the face that we're going to start with today, actually, I think is going to be this one right here. I'm really eager to get started on her. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to mix the perfect shade of red that would go with this doll.
Wish me luck.
Good luck!
Now you can still see there's a little remnants left of her original lips, and she did have some very dark looking lips. So I'm going to take a little bit of red, a little bit of purple, and I'm also going to take a little bit of this matte red, and I'm going to place this right there. An orange. We'll just place that right there. I'm going to use a brush to mix with. So let's see, I'll take this much right here. And this red looks almost perfect, but it's not quite. I'm gonna mix some of that in here as well. So it looks almost like a fire hydrant, but what I'm going to do next is add a little bit of purple, and it will make it just a tinge bit darker, like what we're going for. And there we go. That's very true red right there. Very pretty. I'm gonna take some water and just go ahead and dilute some of it. And there we are. I'm going to use this paintbrush right here. It's by Princeton, 180. Dip it in some water. Throw it into the paint. And what I'm going to start with are her nostrils, because their nostrils would have been painted. I'm going to add just little dots. And there we go, little dots. Quick and easy. Now let's go to the harder part, which is going to be forming your lips. Before I get started, just know that I have been doing this for many years, not as many as some of my contemporaries, as I'm still pretty young.
I am beautiful. Boys will love me. We're young. Well, younger. But it's a start.
Just know that I am professionally trained in the art field, so in case you feel discouraged, please don't. I have had my own fair share of mess ups. And something I recommend that you do is buy some tester dolls. And what I mean by tester dolls is dolls that are in pretty bad shape, and try your best at restoring them before trying this out on one of your favorites. So that way you know your limitations and what you need to work on. So I'm going to start off by doing her lips. Just start forming the shape. That's all you want to do, is just form the shape. And try not to overdraw if you can't help it. Think of it as like doing a lip liner before going all the way in. So now that we've got some sort of a shape going, I'm gonna go in and try my best to get it a little bit better. And you want to constantly go in and also dilute your paint whenever you pick it up on your brush. And again, it's okay to mess up. I like to have little Q-tips around for when I do. Say you should make a mistake. It happens. What you're going to do is take a Q-tip and take some rubbing alcohol and rub it over the area that you have repainted, and it will take off all of the paint 100%. But we'll leave the original paint so you can still use that as your template. So if you do happen to mess up, you can use that little trick to help you out. And you're just gonna be building up on your lips, okay? Just try to make them as uniform as possible. And also keep in mind that these were originally done with a stencil, so it's going to be very difficult to get them looking factory perfect all the time. So give yourself a lot of grace, okay?
Who's the fat kid talking to?
And there we go. We've got a Barbie with beautiful lips.
She's a woman.
So this white ginger Barbie has her own list of problems. She does have faded eyebrows, which we're going to repaint. Both of them are a little bit too faded for my liking, with this one being so faded you could hardly see it. Her eyelash ridges need to be repainted, just at least one side of them. And of course her lips and her nostrils need some work too. I'm going to start mixing some colors up for her eyebrows. I'm going to take a skin tone, this peach color, a warm gray. Again, I'm using acrylics. You could probably do this with watercolored pencils if you wanted to. A little bit of yellow, some brown. And take my mixing brush again, scoop out some brown, place it right here, scoop out some peach, place it right there, scoop out some beige, place it right there, a little bit of yellow, mix it together and see what you got. Okay, a little bit more beige. And right there, is our color. We're gonna dilute it. So we're going to start on her eyebrow. Her pretty and beautiful eyebrow. And I know this probably is very stressful for a lot of people, is doing Barbie's brows. And I get it, I understand. Totally get it. Okay, so now you can see one. Okay, remember to dilute this paint as you go along. I can already feel that it's pretty thick. And there we go, we've got some brows. As they dry, I'm going to start to make the colors, the color palette for her lips, and dilute that paint with some water and get it onto your paintbrush. I'm going to start with the nostrils, go in, boom. And just like with the other bubble cut, you want to try to find the outline of the original lips wherever they are, and just go in before like you throw on a lot of paint. Just go in and use it like a lip liner, like how you would want to line your lips. That's what I find very helpful anyway. See, because then you start to form the lip shape and then everything starts coming together. I have too much paint in this area, so I just took some water and I'm just diluting it. But there we are.
Oh, that's marvelous.
Something that I'm going to do now, which is a piece of cake, is I'm going to touch up her eyelid ridges. And I'm not even going to put this on the paper because you don't need to do any mixing really, but just remember to dilute it. And I only like to put it on the parts where it's needed. And there we go. This Barbie's repaint is done.
That was a lie.
Now it's time to seal my Barbies. So I'm going to put the sealant right here. There we go. And I'm not going to go straight for the sealant. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dilute it with some water. And this is what you would do too if you put it in your airbrusher. So just remember to dilute it with some water. And this is good for pinpointing. So I'm going to put this onto her lips. There we go. There is one. And this is a matte sealant, so it should dry completely matte. And don't forget to dilute. I'm going to put it on top of the lips. And I'm going to put this on anything that I've done. So right here on the eyelashes. Right up there. And then of course, dilute it again. Now we're going to go for the eyebrows. Dilute again. Go right on top of the eyebrows again. And there we are. All right, so we're gonna wait for the sealant to cure for a couple hours.
1 hour later, 2 hours later, 3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
And here the bubble cuts are all done. As you can see, they look quite beautiful. These 1961 bubble cuts, they always have a shiny, greasy face. Even whenever they're washed, like this right here, it's not sticky to the touch. She feels really nice, but her vinyl is just naturally shiny. Again, if you would like to use Mr. Super Clear on these bubbles, you could. I'm not going to because it's just going to sit on top of the vinyl. Eventually over time, it's gonna look pretty bad considering, you know, the plastisol is still going to come out of the vinyl. It's just how this vinyl works and reacts. Very similar to Indonesian Barbies from the early 2000s where their legs are really sticky and there's not much you can really do about it. Now you could put talcum powder on top of the vinyl if you wish. Sometimes that helps. Sometimes it doesn't really do that much of a difference. But again, they're your dolls and you can decide what you feel comfortable doing. Now, I think repainting Barbies can be very simple, but then again, I'm an artist by trade. If they do not look perfect after your first attempt, that's probably good because they didn't look perfect after my first attempt when I first started eons ago. And again, with practice makes perfect and your dolls will thank you and look better for it. I hope this restoration really helped you out and I hope that you all have a fabulous rest of your day. Thank you all so much for tuning in and stay tuned next week where I have some exciting doll content coming your way. Bye-bye.
If you were Barbie, the glamorous teenage fashion model doll by Mattel, you'd have a fabulous wardrobe created for you by Mattel's famous designers. Like this spectacular form-fitted evening gown, handcrafted with exquisite detailing. Zippers that really work, rich satin linings, matched accessories in minutest detail, perfect workmanship in every beautiful costume, always newest, most elegant style. Only Barbie has such a magnificent wardrobe, such a variety of hairstyles and colors, and only the genuine Barbie has this very special tag to tell you that she's the one and only Barbie. If you were Barbie, you'd insist on the best, and Barbie is the best, made only by Mattel. Just $3 wherever dolls are sold. You can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.